This is gonna make it hard to move cows. Good morning, everyone. Getting out here kind of late this morning because, as you saw, it was frosty overnight. We got to about 32 degrees, and this is actually the second night in a row that it's gotten down to freezing. So it's only a matter of time before some of our grass and clover stop growing. But I wanted to kind of wait to get down here till later this morning, just so I'm not driving the UTV and walking all over frosted grass, because that's one good way to kind of kill those grass plants, is when they've got some frost on them, some ice on them, and then you go and step on them or drive on them and smash them down. So you can hear the cows are pretty upset, and I know they're cold and they're ready to move. It's about 45 degrees right now with a pretty decent breeze. So I know they're ready to move. But I got to finish getting my little lane set up to get them next door, and then after that, set up my dividing strip over there, and then we'll get them moved. All right, finally got stuff set up. They are impatient. Oh, real quick, this wire is stuff from Tractor Supply. I'm trying to remember the name of the company, County Line, or they've got it's kind of like a red logo. Anyway, stuff I picked up a while ago just because I needed another roll of wire, and it was going to take too long to order more turbo wire. Don't even waste your money on this stuff. It's horrible. For starters, the cows can't see it. It's thinner than like turbo wire, and it obviously has fewer electrical strands in it. So the conductivity is absolutely horrible. I don't even have this stuff right now. This is that lane they're going to be coming through to get them in next door, but I don't even have it on a charger because it doesn't matter. The stuff is horribly underpowered. And then combine that with just the color, and the cows can't see it. I mean, they run through this stuff all the time. Now, it's cheap and it's nice to have as just a mental barrier if I need it, for the cows. But in the end, I'd spend the money, just spend a little bit more and get some white turbo wire or something. But all right, let's open this up. The plan is we're gonna see how this works. Get the cows down this little lane I set up, get them through the gates here, and then send them next door. And once they get next door, I actually want to start on the far end, way down there, and start working my strips towards the gate this way. That way they're not constantly having access to and putting a bunch of pressure on my little temporary gate, and just kind of marching through the pasture this way. But so I didn't set up a lane over there, so I'm sure maybe once they get in there, they're gonna run around like a bunch of banshees. So I've got a bucket of those protein cubes that, if I need to, I'll stand over there in that corner and shake it around so they come running, then I can get them into that strip set up. But let's give it a go. Good buddy. Jesus. Come on, make that turn. They just get so excited. Come on, kid, keep walking. Looks like they're gonna be goats for a minute. Clean up some of that brushy stuff. I thought about not mowing it. It actually was super good grass in this strip. I thought about not mowing it and giving them, a few hours in here when I moved them, but Like I said, this wire that's keeping them from heading out into the abyss, just disappearing in the timber, is just not good stuff, and I wouldn't trust them to hang out here without standing down here and watching them. But they definitely like the weedy stuff. We actually had neighbor cows. The neighbor's son across the road from us just runs a small group of Herefords, finishes them out every fall. And they busted out, actually a few nights in a row, they kind of busted out. And they ended up in our pasture. This was, a couple weeks ago. They ended up in our pasture. And trying to get them next door, they got into this neighbor's property over here. And actually busted through his fence, which the fence that they have over there is not very good. But they got into the woods. And man, they were gone. I kind of there were 2 steers. I kind of trailed them for as long as I could until I couldn't walk through the stuff anymore. It got super thick. But man, they headed west. There's a big hill on the other side of this timber here, and they ended up way west of us in someone's backyard. Luckily, the neighborhood made some phone calls to kind of let everyone know along our road that a couple of Hereford steers were out. So if you see them, give us a call. So they ended up getting them back in, but it wasn't until late at night. And like I said, myself and the neighbor and his wife were kind of chasing these Hereford steer calves through the woods. It was a nightmare. So I would absolutely hate to have these girls get out and disappear into the timber. Well, they're enjoying themselves in this strip on short grass, which is good because that's all this pasture's gonna be, is short grass. While we're waiting for them, I wanted to ask you guys, anyone out there who has these trees, they could be called Bodark. Osage orange is I think Osage orange is the official name, but a lot of people call them Bodark. Big spikes on them, but they have these hedge apples or spider balls that every fall drop. And I was gonna ask, I've heard horror stories before of cows trying to eat these damn things and choking, and there actually is some nutritional value in it. I hear a lot of hunters say that they'll watch deer come and smack these around with their hooves and break them open into smaller pieces and then eat them. I don't know what exactly they're getting from it, but I mean, this is like a dang softball. You could kill someone if I threw it right at their face. So they're heavy, and I've heard of cows trying to eat them and choking on them. So whenever I get in an area, we have a handful of them all over. Whenever I get in an area that's dropped a bunch of those hedge balls, I try and clean them up and get them out of the way. But this time of year it's tough because they drop everywhere, and it seems like throughout the day they're dropping, so they're always going to have access to them. I'm just curious, any of you guys out there that have those hedge balls, are they a concern for you? We'll talk about the pasture a little bit. There's some areas that are definitely better than others. This is some really nice regrowth here, nice and tall. And this was in an area that the cows spent a lot of time on, and there actually was even a day or two that I fed hay back here. So I know a lot of this is just kind of that stimulated regrowth from heavy impact, which this pasture has not had for years. So, and that there actually is, this section over here actually has some good clover in it, which is awesome. I know in my previous video I said there wasn't a whole lot of legumes, and there's not once you start marching to the east over there. But this side of it actually has some really good legumes, and it's good tall growth, but it's very spotty. So as I was walking, especially down, like I said, going that way, because the further we marched the last time they were in here, the further we marched that way, the worse a lot of that just crappy forage got. So it can get pretty sparse. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do for sizes yet as far as paddocks, just because I don't, you know, if I give them 2,000 square feet, there might be some of those sparse areas in that 2,000 square feet, and they will not be getting enough to eat. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do size wise yet, but you know, a lot of the pasture is good regrowth like this, which I'm super pumped on. And so is this dude. Yeah, good grass, good weight gaining grass. And you know, like I said, they're starting down there, and we're going to be working our way slowly. I'm really tightening them up. I'm going to give them as little amount as possible. Obviously I want them to still be gaining weight and stay healthy, and you know, not losing any body condition going into winter. But I really want to take a bunch off this pasture so I can overseed it in February, frost seed it. Yeah, we'll just have to see how I run them size wise and how long each little chunk lasts. Because like I said, definitely some bare spots and some really spotty bad growth, coupled in with, you know, a lot of good regrowth like this. So, but overall, I am super happy with the way that this pasture bounced back. I'm gonna, at the end of this video, I'll link the mowing video when I think it was like time to cut ties with the lease pasture. Literally cut ties because I had to come in here and mow. It was just, the stuff was horrible. So to see this regrowth on it after what it was is amazing. And I hope it's only going to get better. And I will comment too, you know, the thought was just to give them access to this entire, and I need to map out exactly what this is. I would have to say this is probably 2.5 acres, 2.5 acres. But the thought also was just to turn them out into here and say, you know, let's try and get 30 days out of this, or even, you know, 20 days, just to give my front pasture as much of a chance to regrow as possible before we go through the final strip grazing heading into winter. But I cannot remember the figure, but there is a percentage loss. It's something insane, like 40% efficiency or 40% forage loss out of your pasture by giving your cows continuous access. So not doling out a specific amount every day, you know, just because of their walking and their trampling and just their cow's general behavior to graze. You can lose up to like 40% of your pasture just to a cow's normal behavior that they won't eat. So I started thinking, you know, if I really want 20 or 30 days out of this, and I just turn them out and give them full access to this, you know, 30, 40%, whatever that statistic is quite a lot. And, you know, at the end of the day, it could be hard pressed to even get 20 days out of this. So, plus, like I said, I really want to take a bunch off. So that's why I decided to strip graze them through here and keep them moving. Now, we'll have to see what the weather does if starting down there, stripping them through nice and tight, nice and slow, coming all the way to where I'm standing now. If by the time we get to here and we've had some actually decent grass growing weather, which, you know, we're on just borrowed time here. It's only a matter of days or weeks before the grass really stops growing. But if some of it regrows, then what I might do is say, okay, let's get just another 2 or 3 days out of it. And then I wouldn't back fence. I'd let the cows walk back through, take whatever regrew, and just kind of buy a little bit more time. But it's all going to be weather dependent. If we've already gotten into, you know, grass dormancy, there's no regrowth, there's no harm of them going back and eating that regrowth. It wouldn't be a huge deal to do that, but we're just gonna have to kind of play it by ear. That's one thing that I've found is probably the most challenging. It is the most challenging. I know that's anything in agriculture or farming is the weather, because that's the one thing that's out of our control. But you know, you can have control over everything else, and the weather is, especially in our part of Iowa, is just so different. Day to day, it's different month to month, and it's different year to year. So it is impossible to make a plan. You know, like I said before, I keep grazing notes each year, so the next year I can go back through and kind of make a reference point. Like, you know, October 18th was our first snowstorm last year, so I can kind of gauge when I need to start changing my grazing strategies and tactics, but every year's different. It's hard to make a plan. I wish it was set in stone at the start of every month. Something different with the weather happens at the start of every month, and that's how it is for the entire month. And that would obviously be too easy, and then this would be no fun. Not sure if you picked up on what I was trying to show there, but so many of the manure patties in this pasture have been flipped over by turkeys, which is awesome. That is one thing that I noticed. This pasture, after I mowed it, let it regrow, had so much more of a, it had a lot more wildlife on it. The deer, the turkey, I saw a bunch of coyotes in here hunting voles, which is which is awesome. So that's something that I don't get to see as much on my pastures, and I can only assume that's because they're closer to the house. They're fenced in really, really well, and the cows are usually on it. But almost every single manure patty that I found, especially over there on that end closest to the timber, has been flipped over, kind of ground up, scratched through. Obviously turkey's looking for bugs, and it's starting to get incorporated into the soil already just because it's broken down. So I was really happy to see that. Hey girls, come on girls. All right, time to break out the protein. Hey girls. Oh man, they're gonna run right through the wire I've got down. They love not having any fences. I gotta admit, it is really nice to see the cows running around and not confined to a small area. Oh, watch that wire. Come on, buddy. Come on, Abs. She can't figure it out. There we go. Good girl. Right here, big girl. Right here, big girl. Hey, girls. Man, they must have been really hungry. I'm kind of feeling bad now that I pushed them as hard as I did through that last section of our home pasture and then got out here late. They clearly were hungry. That's my bad. And she's nursing, but the sunlight's pretty good on her right now. You can see some ribs. So she's, it's everything we can do to keep condition on her, which, what can you do? First calf heifer, who's, nursing, and we're getting into the fall. Come on, big girl. We're getting into the fall grazing where just the grass isn't the best. I can't believe how big she's getting. There's days when I look out here and I get confused if I'm looking at mom or if I'm looking at the calf. She put on a bunch of size really quickly. Dude, this absolutely is a secret weapon. These protein cubes. If anyone wants to try and get a little bit of control and training and docility out of their animals, obviously don't treat them like junk, but give them something to look forward to, like these little protein cubes. I didn't want to tell my neighbor that when we were literally chasing his steer calves down the road in the opposite direction from where they needed to go, or through the woods. But I was like, man, if these were ours, all I'd have to do was shake the bucket and they'd follow me wherever. They'd come running, literally. You just saw that. Give it to them just enough to know what it is and get them excited to have it, but not something every single day to where they'd rather do something else than get those treats. All right, so I gotta get water in. Oh, let me get this fence up. Oh boy. Cows are goofy, man. They really do have a personality, and I know I've said that before. It does break my heart sometimes just to see the way that some people think of livestock and treat livestock as stupid, dumb, mindless eating machines that have one purpose in life, and that is to get as fat as possible and end up on our plates. They all have their own personalities. They are actually very intelligent animals. I mean, when it comes to, certain aspects of life, unfortunately, just because they can only really process one thought at a time, when they get scared or excited, then that's when they do stupid things like run through fence or whatever. So people just assume they're dumb, but they're just cool animals. I wish more people could take the time to actually watch the same animals on a daily basis to realize that, they're their own creature, and in a sense they're kind of like big ass dogs. Man, they are wound up. They definitely did not get enough to eat. So I'm probably not going to run them as tight today, just so they can make up for it. Because they're talking about starting overnight tonight, which is Saturday night, into all day tomorrow, Sunday, and then into Sunday night into Monday. We're gonna have some cold temps, and they're talking about up to 2 inches of rain, just straight downpour. I really hope this stuff kind of comes out of the south. Usually it does, so they can use this tree break here to help kind of protect them a little bit if it gets bad. But they're gonna need more feed over the next couple days anyway, because they're gonna be soaking wet and cold. So I have a feeling, just thinking about it now, that this pasture isn't gonna last me as long as I hoped it would, just because we are getting to that time of year where 2,000 square feet, could be tough for them even in decent weather. But factor in the spotty regrowth on here and the weather changing, they're gonna need a lot more feed, but we'll see. All right, I gotta get water over here and finish securing some of this perimeter fence. There's a ton of deer down there. Finish securing this perimeter fence, tighten it all up, make sure everything's good, and then work on a gate. But yeah, that's it, guys. If you have any questions, comments, sarcastic remarks, whatever, shoot them my way. I talked to the county extension the other day about soil testing. I got a lot of good information. You guys gave me a lot of good information, which was awesome. Thank you so much. It's hard to, obviously this is stuff that you can look up online, you can do your own research, but everyone has their own opinion on how things are done. And it seemed like a lot of the suggestions that you guys were giving me, they're watching the deer. A lot of the suggestions that you guys were giving me kind of fell in line with not only what I found on some reputable websites, but also what the county extension agent told me. So I just need to decide on a lab, like I said, with Iowa State soil testing lab closing. I got to figure out, I think the next closest that they recommended was in Nebraska. So should get results back pretty quickly. I just need to decide on how many samples I want to take and send off, because it's obviously money per sample. So I'll be doing that soon. I'll make sure to do a video on it. I need to go get bedding for the winter. Not sure if I'll do a video on that. That's actually kind of boring, just dragging that trailer around to go grab a bunch of small square straw bales to use as bedding this year. I would still like to do preg checking. That's still the plan, so we'll see if I can get that accomplished. But yeah, that's it. One other thing. To anyone who left a comment that didn't get a response from me, for some reason there's a handful of comments every time I put a video out there that I get an email and I can read the comment and it says so and so has commented on your video. But for some reason, when I actually go into YouTube and either use the app or use the computer to find my video, which is how I normally interact with you guys and reply, the comment doesn't show up. So it's almost like it's been deleted, like it's not on the comment section at all. So there's a handful of you that have left really good comments, really good questions, really good information that has helped me out, and I'm very appreciative, and I know other people could benefit from it as well. But if I didn't comment to you, I don't know if you can still see your comment on my feed or not, but I can't. It's not there, and I'm not sure why it disappeared or where it went. But just know I'm not standing you guys up, or I'm not being unappreciative of you guys taking the time to help me out. I just, for some reason, it's disappeared, and I can't write back to you, and I don't know if anyone else can see it, but yeah, keep it coming. You guys are great. Really appreciate all the help, and we'll catch you in the next video. Right, Fat Abby? Man, I hope she's pregnant. You'd be a good mom, raising some needy, meaty calves. All right, we'll catch you guys later.